I never thought I'd be one of those people writing about their nightmare mother-in-law, but here we are. For context, I'm 32, a pediatrician at the local hospital, married to James, 34, for 7 years now. We have a sweet little girl named Lily, who just turned 5 and is obsessed with everything unicorn and bluey. We live in a decent suburban neighborhood. Nothing fancy, but it's ours, you know? My MIL Donna has always been challenging. The kind of woman who just wants to help by reorganizing your entire kitchen when you invite her over for Thanksgiving dinner. The kind who gives you a Peloton for Christmas and says, I thought you might want to get back in shape after the baby when your child is already 4. But we managed because she lived across town with my father-in-law, and we could limit our interaction to Sunday dinners and occasional babysitting. Then last month, my FIL passed away suddenly from a heart attack. It was devastating, especially for James. His dad was a great guy, the complete opposite of Donna. He was the buffer between her controlling tendencies and the rest of the world. Without him, we knew things would be different, but I wasn't prepared for how different. 2 weeks after the funeral, James came home from visiting his mom and dropped the bomb. I think my mom should stay with us for a while. She's not handling being alone well. I felt that knot in my stomach that happens when you know something's a bad idea, but you also know you can't say no. How long is a while? I asked. Just a couple weeks, he said, already texting on his phone. Until she feels better. Y'all, I wanted to believe him, I really did. But I also knew my mother-in-law. Still, what could I say? The woman had just lost her husband of 35 years. I couldn't be the monster who refused to help her. So I nodded and started preparing the guest room. That weekend, Donna arrived with 4 suitcases and her yappy little Pomeranian that pees whenever it gets excited, which is always. The first few days were fine. She kept to herself, spent a lot of time on the phone with her church friends, and only criticized my parenting choices twice. Progress, right? Then I had a 48-hour shift at the hospital. When I came home, exhausted and just wanting my own bed, I walked into a different house. The living room furniture had been completely rearranged. My vintage record player, a gift from my brother, was gone, replaced by Donna's collection of Precious Moments figurines. The gallery wall of family photos I'd carefully curated now featured about 80% pictures of James as a child, and only 1 photo of Lily. I found James in the kitchen, happily eating a pot roast that Donna had prepared. What happened to the living room? I asked, trying to keep my voice level. Oh, Mom thought it would flow better this way. And it does. The TV's at a much better angle now. Where's my record player? She put it in the basement, said it was collecting dust anyway. But look, she made pot roast, your favorite. First of all, I hate pot roast. He knows this. Second, my record player wasn't collecting dust. I use it all the time. But I was too tired to argue, so I just grabbed a plate and some Advil, and tried to ignore the fact that even the silverware drawers had been reorganized. Over the next week, more changes appeared. My Keurig disappeared, replaced by Donna's old-school percolator because real coffee doesn't come from plastic cups. The throw pillows I bought from Target last month were gone, switched out for some scratchy embroidered ones that gave me flashbacks to visiting my great-aunt's plastic-covered couch as a kid. I tried talking to James, but every conversation went the same way. Your mom replaced all my kitchen towels with hers. She's just trying to help Em. She threw out my succulents because she said they were sad-looking. Well, they kind of were. And now we have these nice potpourri things. She rearranged my medicine cabinet. I can't find anything. You're overreacting. Just calm down. Calm down. The 2 words guaranteed to make any woman instantly not calm down. 3 weeks into this temporary arrangement, I opened my closet to find half my clothes missing. When I confronted Donna, she smiled that thin-lipped smile of hers. I just did a little decluttering while you were at work. Those clothes were so outdated, honey. And that sweater with the hole in it? I can't believe you kept that rag. That rag was my mother's favorite cardigan. My mother who died of cancer 6 years ago. The hole was where her hospital ID badge had been clipped every day for 20 years. I wore it when I missed her, which was often. Where is it? I asked, my voice shaking. Oh, I already took a bag to Goodwill yesterday. Don't worry, I saved you the trip. I stood there, unable to speak, as she patted my cheek and walked away to tell Lily that Nana made your favorite mac and cheese, not that boxed stuff Mommy gives you. That night, after everyone was asleep, I went through every donation bin, within 10 miles, desperately searching for my mom's cardigan. I never found it. The next morning, I opened my bedside drawer to get my mom's photo and found another violation. The small wooden box where I kept my mother's jewelry, nothing valuable, just sentimental pieces like her wedding ring and the charm bracelet I'd given her as a teenager, was gone. I tore the room apart looking for it, which woke up James. What are you doing? He mumbled, watching me frantically search the closet. Your mother took my mom's jewelry box. Where is it? He sat up, finally looking concerned. Are you sure? Maybe you moved it? I gave him a look that must have conveyed exactly how stupid that question was because he immediately got up and went to find Donna. I heard them talking in the kitchen. Her voice was high and defensive. It was just costume jewelry, and that box was so beaten up, I put the few nice pieces in my jewelry organizer for her. I walked into the kitchen trying very hard not to scream. Where's the box? She shrugged. I threw it out with the recycling. It was falling apart anyway. The recycling that had been picked up yesterday. Another piece of my mother, gone forever. James must have seen something in my face because for once he didn't tell me to calm down. Instead, he muttered, Mom, that wasn't okay, in the weakest possible rebuke. Donna's face hardened. I was helping. This house was a cluttered mess before I came. Emily works so much she doesn't have time to properly keep a home. I'm just doing what needs to be done. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just turned around, went upstairs, and started making plans. Because that box and my mother's cardigan, that was the final straw. Or so I thought, until I came home early the next day and found Donna in Lily's room with a tape measure and color swatches. Updated. I stood in the doorway of Lily's room, watching my mother-in-law measure the walls like she owned the place. All around her were paint samples in various shades of beige and cream, a far cry from the rainbow galaxy theme Lily had chosen for her birthday just 2 months ago. What are you doing? I asked, my voice surprisingly calm given the volcano erupting inside me. Donna jumped slightly, then recovered with that fake smile I'd grown to despise. Oh, Emily, you're home early. I was just thinking this room needs a refresh. All these bright colors can't be good for Lily's sleep patterns. I read an article in Good Housekeeping about how neutral tones promote better rest for children. Lily chose these colors herself, I said. She loves her room. Donna waved her hand dismissively. Children don't know what they want. James had the same issue. Wanted his room painted black when he was 12. I gave him a nice sage green instead. And he thanked me later. I highly doubted that. But before I could respond, I noticed something else. The stuffed unicorn that Lily slept with every night, the one my mother had given her before she passed, was missing from the bed. Where's Sparkles? I asked, my heart racing. That ratty old thing? I put it away. I got her a much nicer teddy bear from Pottery Barn Kids. It's hypoallergenic. The way she said hypoallergenic, like it was a magic word that justified everything, made something snap inside me. Where is Sparkles? Not a question this time. Donna must have finally sensed danger because she pointed to Lily's closet. Top shelf. But really, Emily, it's falling apart at the seams. Children get attached to the strangest things. I retrieved Sparkles, holding the worn unicorn like it was made of glass. Then I turned to my mother-in-law. Get out of my daughter's room, now. Her eyes widened in manufactured offense. I'm just trying to help. James said you've been working so much lately that the house needs out. For once, she listened, huffing past me with her paint samples clutched to her chest like precious documents. But I knew this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. That night, after dinner, which Donna had prepared, of course, some casserole with cream of mushroom soup that Lily wouldn't touch, I asked James to meet me on the back deck. Our house wasn't fancy, but we had a nice little deck with string lights where we used to drink wine and talk after Lily went to bed. Before Hurricane Donna made landfall. We need to talk about your mother, I said once we were seated. James sighed, already defensive. I know she can be a bit much, but she's grieving, Em. She threw away my mother's cardigan and jewelry box. She didn't know they were important. She didn't ask, and now she's planning to redecorate Lily's room without even consulting us. Had the decency to look surprised at that. She what? I explained what I'd found earlier, watching his face for any sign that he understood the severity of the situation. There was a flicker of something, annoyance, maybe even anger. But it faded quickly. I'll talk to her, he promised. But try to understand. She needs to feel useful right now. Dad always handled everything, and now she's trying to find her place. Her place is not in our daughter's bedroom with a paintbrush, I said. And this was supposed to be temporary, remember? It's been almost a month. He looked away. She's still not ready to go back to that empty house. Would you be? And there it was. The guilt trip that made me the bad guy for wanting my home back. For wanting to protect what little I had left of my own mother. For wanting to preserve my daughter's happiness. I realized then that talking wasn't going to solve this. I needed action. The next day, I called in a favor with my friend Sarah, who works as a family therapist. I explained the situation over coffee at Starbucks, far from my house and any potential eavesdropping. Classic narcissistic mother-in-law. Sarah said, stirring her latte. And your husband has been conditioned his whole life to enable her behavior. So what do I do? I can't keep living like this. Sarah thought for a moment. You need leverage and documentation. Start keeping records of everything she does, especially when it affects Lily. Take photos of things before she changes them. Like, building a case? Exactly. And you need to figure out what would motivate your husband to finally stand up to her. I spent the next 2 weeks in stealth mode. I set up a small security camera in the main areas of the house, completely legal in my state since it's my property. I took photos of rooms before leaving for work and compared them to how they looked when I returned. I saved all the texts from James where he dismissed my concerns, and I started looking at real estate listings. Meanwhile, Donna's behavior escalated. She accidentally deleted my shows from the DVR. She replaced family photos on my nightstand with pictures of James as a baby. She started scheduling playdates for Lily without telling me, then acted surprised when I said we already had plans. But I already told Brenda from church you'd bring Lily to meet her granddaughter. They're the same age, it would be so good for her to have friends from good families. The implication being that Lily's current friends, mostly kids of my hospital, colleagues, weren't from good families. The final straw came when I found Donna going through my personal mail. Not just the bills or catalogs, but a card from my brother that had contained a Visa gift card for my birthday. I was just organizing, she said when I caught her. And I put that gift card in my purse for safekeeping. This house isn't as secure as it should be. I retreated to my bedroom and called the real estate agent I'd been working with. I'll take the Maple Street property, I said. And I need it furnished as soon as possible. 2 days later, I invited James's older sister Michelle over for lunch, while Donna was at her weekly hair appointment. Michelle had always seen through her mother's manipulation, which was why they barely spoke these days. It's gotten worse since Dad died, she confirmed after I showed her my evidence folder. She's trying to recreate her perfect household with you guys since I'm a lost cause. She rolled her eyes at this. Michelle was happily divorced and living her best life traveling as a consultant. Will you help me? I asked. With pleasure. What's the plan? I told her about the house I'd bought using my inheritance money, a small but nice ranch-style home just 10 minutes away. It was being furnished that week with everything a woman Donna's age might need, including a state-of-the-art security system I could monitor remotely. Michelle's eyes widened. You're not kicking her out, you're giving her her own place. Complete. With a part-time home health aide who's actually a retired nurse. Mom left me enough that I can cover this without touching our family savings. That's actually genius. She can't play the victim if you're being generosity itself. Exactly. But I need James on board, and you know how he gets around her. Michelle nodded thoughtfully. Leave that to me. When are you planning the big reveal? Sunday dinner. I need you there for backup. Sunday arrived, and I was a bundle of nerves. Michelle came early, giving me a pep talk while helping prepare. The roast chicken dinner I'd planned, Donna had been banished from the kitchen for once, told it was a special surprise meal. Dinner started pleasantly enough, with Michelle expertly directing conversation toward neutral topics. Then, as I cleared the plates before dessert, I nodded to her. So, Mom, Michelle said, Emily has something exciting to tell you. All eyes turned to me as I set down a small gift-wrapped box in front of Donna. What's this? She asked suspiciously. Open it, I encouraged, my heart pounding. Inside was a key on a keychain with a photo of a pretty little house. Donna looked confused. I don't understand. I took a deep breath. That's the key to your new home. It's on Maple Street, just 10 minutes from here. It's fully furnished, in a nice community for active seniors, and there's even a garden plot you can use. The silence that followed was deafening. You bought me a house? Donna finally managed, looking between James and me. Emily did, James said, clearly as shocked as his mother. We hadn't discussed this part of my plan. I know how hard it must be to go back to your old house with all those memories, I said smoothly. And while we've loved having you here, the lie barely stuck in my throat, I know how important independence is. Plus, I've arranged for a lovely lady named Patricia to come by several times a week to help with anything you need. A caretaker? You think I need a caretaker? Donna's voice rose dangerously. Not at all, Michelle interjected. Patricia is more like a companion, someone to drive you to appointments, help with groceries, the things Dad used to do. Donna looked at James, clearly expecting him to object to this whole plan. But Michelle had done her work well, showing him my documentation and explaining how unhealthy the current situation was for everyone, especially Lily. I think it sounds perfect, Mom, he said quietly. Emily's put a lot of thought into this. So you're kicking me out? After all I've done for this family? Donna's eyes welled with tears right on cue. I was prepared for this. Absolutely not. You're welcome to visit anytime. We'd love for Lily to see her grandmother regularly, but I think we all need our own space to heal properly after losing Dad. The argument that followed lasted nearly 2 hours. Donna cycled through every manipulation tactic in her arsenal: tears, guilt, anger, even threatening to disown James. But with Michelle's support and the irrefutable evidence of Donna's behavior, James finally stood firm. "It's happening, Mom," he said eventually. "The movers are coming for your things tomorrow, and Emily and I will help you get settled." Donna stormed off to the guest room, slamming the door like a teenager. Michelle squeezed my hand under the table. That went better than expected. It had. But I knew the war wasn't over yet. The next day was a whirlwind of moving boxes and icy silence. Donna barely spoke as we set up her new house, which was genuinely lovely. I'd made sure of that. No, one could accuse me of dumping her in some terrible situation. As Michelle and I arranged Donna's precious figurines on a display shelf, James took his mother through the security features of the house. "And this button connects directly to emergency services if you need help," he was explaining as we walked into the living room. Donna sniffed. "I won't need it. I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself, despite what some people think." She shot me a venomous look. "Of course you are," I said pleasantly. "But it's always good to have backup." Just before we left, I handed Donna a small bag. Inside was a framed photo of her with my father-in-law, James, and Lily, taken at Christmas. "For your new home," I said. For just a moment, genuine emotion flickered across her face. Then the mask returned. "I suppose it will do," she said, setting it aside. In the car on the way home, James was quiet. "Did I do the right thing?" he finally asked. "You supported your family," I said, reaching for his hand. "Both your mother and us. That's the right thing." That night, after Lily was asleep, we sat on our deck with glasses of wine for the first time in weeks. The house was quiet, everything back in its rightful place, except my mother's cardigan and jewelry box. Those were gone forever. "I'm sorry," James said suddenly. "I didn't see what was happening, or I didn't want to. She's your mom. It's complicated. But you're my wife, and Lily's my daughter. I should have protected what matters to you both." I leaned against his shoulder, relieved that the worst seemed to be over. "We'll figure out the boundaries as we go." As if on cue, his phone rang. Donna's number. James looked at me, then declined the call. "She can leave a message," he said. "Right now, this is our time." It wasn't a perfect ending, but it was a start. Final update. It's been 6 months since Operation Mother-in-Law relocation, and I wish I could say everything's been smooth sailing. But that would be a fat lie. Donna still calls James daily, sometimes hourly. At first, he answered every time, but after our third date night was ruined by emergencies that turned out to be things like the neighbor's dog looked at me funny, he finally set some boundaries. Now he checks in once a day, and we visit as a family on Sundays for a strictly timed 2-hour dinner. Patricia, the home health aide, quit after 3 weeks. Apparently being accused of stealing, she wasn't, and having to reorganize the same kitchen cabinets every day because Donna would mess them up after she left. Wasn't worth any salary. We're on aide number 4 now, but she's a former drill sergeant and seems to be holding her own. James finally went to therapy to work through his complicated relationship with his mother. It's been eye-opening for him to realize just how much he was conditioned to prioritize her feelings above everything else. As for me, I still feel the ache of losing those pieces of my mother. Some nights I dream about finding her cardigan in some thrift store and wake up crying. But last week, Lily came home from kindergarten with a Mother's Day craft, a hand-decorated jewelry box. "For your special things, Mommy," she said. "So, we're healing. And my house is mine again, worth every penny of that inheritance." Oh, and Donna's latest complaint? "The house is too perfect. You're making me look bad to the neighbors. Can't win 'em all, I guess." Winking face.